Jay and Pamela had always envisioned building a family together, but their path to parenthood was more complex than they had anticipated. Both in their early 30s, they had spent years strengthening their relationship before deciding it was time to take the next step. Their love was deep, rooted in mutual respect and unwavering support, making them eager to share that same bond with their future child. However, there was an underlying concern neither could ignore. Both carried genetic disorders that could affect their ability to conceive naturally or pass on inherited conditions to their offspring. Jay had been diagnosed with cystic fibrosis in childhood, a condition that, while manageable with modern treatments, often led to fertility challenges in men. Though he remained optimistic, knowing that advancements in reproductive medicine offered possibilities, he still worried about what the journey ahead might entail. Pamela, on the other hand, had sickle cell disease, which presented its own set of complications when it came to pregnancy. While she had learned to live with her condition, the thought of how it might impact both her health and that of a potential child weighed heavily on her mind. Despite these concerns, their love for each other only strengthened their resolve. They knew that conceiving a child would not be as straightforward as it was for others, but they were determined to explore every option available. Their decision to start baby planning was driven by hope. The hope that medical science could help them overcome genetic barriers, and the hope that one day they would hold their own child in their arms. The reality of Jay and Pamela's genetic disorders cast a long shadow over their hopes for parenthood. For Jay, cystic fibrosis posed a significant hurdle. CF affects the body's mucus-producing glands, leading to chronic lung infections and digestive issues. But perhaps most directly relevant to their baby planning, it nearly always causes male infertility. This is because men with CF are typically born without the vas deferens, the tubes that transport sperm from the testes. While this does not prevent fatherhood entirely, it does necessitate assisted reproductive technologies, such as intracytoplasmic sperm injection, where a single sperm is injected directly into an egg. Jay understood this challenge well, having known his prognosis since adolescence, but the emotional weight of needing medical intervention still lingered. Pamela's struggle with sickle cell disease introduced an entirely different set of concerns. While women with sickle cell disease can conceive naturally, the condition significantly increases the risks associated with pregnancy. Sickle cell disease affects red blood cells, causing them to become rigid and crescent-shaped, leading to chronic pain episodes, organ damage, and increased susceptibility to infections. During pregnancy, these complications can worsen, raising the likelihood of high blood pressure, preterm labor, and even maternal mortality. Additionally, if both parents carry a recessive gene, as in Pamela's case, there was a risk of passing on sickle cell disease to their child, depending on whether Jay carried any related mutations. These genetic complexities forced Jay and Pamela to confront difficult questions early in their baby planning journey. Would they be able to have a biological child without transmitting these conditions? What medical interventions would they need to pursue? And most importantly, could they ensure both Pamela's health and the baby's well-being throughout the process? Determined to navigate their challenges with clarity and confidence, Jay and Pamela scheduled appointments with specialists who could guide them through the intricacies of conception with their respective conditions. Their first stop was a genetic counselor, whose role was to assess their risks and explain the potential outcomes of their union. Sitting across from the counselor, they listened intently as she outlined the inheritance patterns of both cystic fibrosis and sickle cell disease. She explained that while Jay did not carry the sickle cell trait, there was still a chance their child could inherit the CF gene if Pamela was a carrier, though comprehensive testing would be needed to confirm this. Next, they met with a reproductive endocrinologist who specialized in fertility treatments tailored for individuals facing genetic or physiological barriers to conception. The doctor reassured them that advances in assisted reproductive technology could offer solutions. For Jay, Options like sperm retrieval and ICSI provided a viable path to fatherhood, while Pamela's road would require close monitoring by a high-risk obstetrician should she choose to carry a pregnancy. The discussions were overwhelming at times, filled with medical jargon and hypothetical scenarios, but their commitment to each other kept them steady. Despite the uncertainty, they felt a growing sense of empowerment, knowing they had the tools to make informed decisions about their future as a family. With a clearer understanding of their genetic risks, Jay and Pamela began exploring the medical pathways that could lead them to parenthood. For Jay, the primary obstacle was his infertility due to cystic fibrosis. His urologist recommended a procedure called testicular sperm extraction, in which sperm could be retrieved directly from his testicles. If successful, the sperm could then be used in intracytoplasmic sperm injection, a form of in vitro fertilization in which a single sperm is injected into an egg. This method bypassed the need for functional vas deferens and gave them a strong chance of creating embryos. The prospect was promising, but Jay was anxious about undergoing surgery and uncertain whether viable sperm would even be found. Meanwhile, Pamela faced a different set of concerns. Her hematologist advised that pregnancy could intensify her sickle cell symptoms, increasing her risk of painful crises, infections, and complications like preeclampsia. To mitigate these dangers, she would need to work closely with a maternal fetal medicine specialist throughout any pregnancy. One possibility was using IVF with pre-implantation genetic testing, which would allow them to screen embryos for both cystic fibrosis and sickle cell disease before implantation. This approach could help them select embryos free of both conditions, reducing the likelihood of passing on either disorder. However, IVF was emotionally and financially demanding, requiring multiple cycles and careful coordination with her health status. As they absorbed the complexities of these options, Jay and Pamela felt the weight of their decisions more acutely. Every choice seemed to come with trade-offs, medical risks, financial strain, and emotional tolls. Yet, despite the daunting challenges, they remained resolute, determined to find a way forward together. As Jay and Pamela delved deeper into their baby planning journey, the emotional and psychological implications of their situation became increasingly apparent. The knowledge that they might face additional hurdles on the path to parenthood weighed heavily on them, stirring a mix of anxiety, fear, and determination. Each medical consultation left them with new information to process, and though they supported each other, the stress of potential setbacks was ever present. Jay, who had long come to terms with his infertility, found himself grappling with renewed self-doubt, questioning whether he would be able to provide the biological connection to their child that many parents longed for. Meanwhile, Pamela wrestled with the uncertainty of how her body would respond to pregnancy, fearing that her condition might put both her and their future child at risk. Despite these uncertainties, their conversations about parenthood remained grounded in unwavering love and shared aspirations. They reminded each other that biology was not the sole measure of family, and that adoption or gestational carriers were alternative paths worth considering. Open and honest communication became their anchor, allowing them to voice their fears without judgment. Whether discussing the financial burden of fertility treatments or the emotional toll of repeated medical evaluations, they approached each challenge as a team. Their resilience stemmed from their deep connection, an unshakable foundation that reassured them that, no matter what obstacles lay ahead, they would face them together. Despite the complexities and uncertainties surrounding their genetic conditions, Jay and Pamela remained steadfast in their pursuit of parenthood. Their journey was far from straightforward, but their love and unwavering support for each other gave them strength. Each medical consultation, each discussion about treatment options, and each moment of doubt only reinforced their determination to build a family together. They understood that their path might involve unconventional methods, but they also knew that love, not genetics, defined a parent's bond with their child. With the guidance of specialists access to advanced reproductive technologies, and their shared resilience, they felt hopeful about the future. Their commitment to open communication allowed them to navigate the emotional and logistical challenges with honesty and compassion. Rather than letting their medical concerns dictate their choices, they focused on the possibilities that modern medicine and personal perseverance could offer. As they prepared to move forward, they embraced the idea that their journey, whether through assisted reproduction, adoption, or another path, would ultimately lead them to the family they dreamed of. With each step, they grew more confident that, together, they could overcome any obstacle life placed before them.